Can you give me something a little funky? TeDarryl right now, of course I'm a singer and a writer and an actor and a creative being, but I think I'm just somebody trying to figure it out. Not forcing myself to figure it out because I can do a lot of forcing. I'm just trying to be more zen and more like feeling the moment. Music, well, my parents both listened to a lot of different kinds of music, and I was the only child for a very, very long time. So I had my TV as my friend. So I was like an MTV head, so I would look at a lot of music videos and became like into like 90s R&B and like pop music and like alternative rock and all those kinds of music that were like thriving in the 90s. Then I was a musical theater major. I sung in a jazz band. I sung in a soul cover band. I played trumpet for a while. So music has always been like part of like my being. I say it was like my passion. It became like my passion probably when I was in elementary school and all the other kids wanted to like play recess and I wanted to like put together girl groups. I'm inspired by life. I really like connections between people, whether it's like brother and sister or like father and mother or relationships or friendships. I think people's connections are really like special and important. So I'm inspired by just watching people and how they communicate and like talk to each other. Musically, as a writer, I think Amy Winehouse and Joni Mitchell and like Jill Scott are cool. They are like the people when I write a song. I'm like, can I tell a story as clearly as they can tell a story? But music-wise, I'm really inspired by everybody, like jazz musicians, soul singers, and people from like the 60s and people from now. I'm like a sponge. I soak in everything and like I'm affected by everything and I'm inspired by everything, which I think is a good thing when you're an artist because art is about presenting life the way you absorb it and you see it. So, yeah. Hangover is my new album. It's basically about, I was in a very shitty relationship, situation, whatever it was, for like the past 7 years. It came a point to where I was like, you know, this is unhealthy for my being, so I have to like stop and really see how I got to the point where I was at. And Hangover is basically like the aftermath of me writing about every feeling and every thought and every like thing that basically I observed over the past 7 years, but because I was in the thick of it, I didn't really have time to like focus on. So Hangover is like me spilling my guts about what's happened to me in my adulthood, because 7 years is a long time when you're only 25, about to be 26. It's their entire adulthood. So it's about my adulthood thus far. Writing Hangover was different because I'm a coper. So when I feel sad or when I feel like upset or angry or anything, I do things to cope, whether it be drink or smoke or anything else. But this time I was like, you know what? Bump that. I have to feel what I feel and I have to go through. I have to cut off everything. I stopped talking to this person for the first time in like 7 years. And I like stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, I started working out like 6 times a week, and I started like practicing celibacy and like all this stuff to teach myself discipline and to like to feel and to go through stuff. So once I sat down and like wrote the first song, all the songs just came out like word vomit. And like recording wise, musically it was different from any other music I've done because it's usually like producers sending me music tracks and like I have to change my words around to them. This time I just went in with my melodies and my arrangements, and me and the first kind, which is Brad Moss and Uriah, we just sat around and we talked and we came up with music with live instruments just around my thoughts and like what I had written in my melodies. So it was really organic and it was really like the best way for me to create. It made my sound be what I wanted it to be, and I got to like become a producer kind of and put my hand in every pot. So that was really cool. My favorite song on Hangover I love all of them. I love every song on Hangover, and with my last project of music, I wasn't able to say that. With this album, my favorite song would have to be a song called Change. Change is the first song that I wrote for the album. Musically, it's such a pretty song. I get to use every part of my voice, and it doesn't sound like the song that I've ever done. The hardest part about making the album was being so emotionally open. I think I've been writing about my life forever, since I was little, and just journaling and talking about how I felt. But this time around, I was really, really, really honest. On my last album of music, I said, oh, I was honest. But this time I'm really telling everything. And that's kind of scary. That's really hard to put all your business out there, especially when different people who know you or know the other person is gonna hear it, and that's kind of nerve-wracking. Other than that, it was kind of easy process. It was very organic. I had fun in the studio. It wasn't it didn't feel like a task. It felt like something I wanted to do, something that I was really giving birth to. So it wasn't really hard, just to being extremely emotionally open and telling people all my business and saying everything. I've grown as an artist and as a person making this album with just discipline. I taught myself to be more disciplined. I taught myself to really care about myself, because I'm a giver naturally. So I tend to pour myself, especially in a relationship aspect, I pour myself a lot into other people or that. But it really taught me to take care of myself, and you can feel like you're worth something, and you can feel like you're better than a situation, and you can feel like you deserve. So it kind of made me more powerful, and I feel it even in my work ethic now. I feel like I'm in control more and I'm in charge. It's fun, and I feel more zen, and sometimes I ride around in the car in silence, and it feels wonderful, and I meditate and work out a lot and make smoothies in the morning. I miss baking. But it's been fun growing. I have grown a lot during this process, so that's fun. Yay! TeDarryl is feeling the moment right now. That is what he's doing, for better or for worse. Are we done?
That I'm too fat for you. I'm too fat for you. I'm too fat for you. I'm too fat for you.